Oh, he needs to get a wiggle on. Literally out his bed in the car bed.
His mum as well, so he might be looking after her.
Very, very good morning, ladies, gents and teddy bears. Welcome to the mystery live stream. What are we doing here? Oh, I don't know. What's going to happen here? What are we doing here on a Saturday? We'll find out in a minute. Right, very good morning, ladies, gents, teddy bears. Hope you're all having a good weekend.
So cute.
So, ladies, gents, teddy bears, welcome to the Ted Coningsby channel. And it was a very, very funny phone call this morning because obviously, like we do with our usual checks, but I better let them know what we're doing here on a Saturday. And yep, it was all is good. Ted's just going to give you the theme for today. And Lakenheath runway is open, so that's always takes the pressure off for today. We've got a good feeling something will happen here today. And of course, Squadron Leader Ted, as their Squadron Leader Ted Coningsby's made the call today. This will give you the theme for today. Ted's got his lest we forget, so that might give you a little giveaway and a little hint what we're doing here today. We wait patiently. So it's going to be another chilled out stream. Not to be lager. So Milton Hall is so we're just going to await. Welcome to Raf Lakenheath. Now normally I would say don't come here on a weekend, fine. Of course, the standard training is Monday to Friday at any given time, any time during that period. But for today, we could see a visiting aircraft today. Fingers crossed, paws crossed. You know how it is. Even when you are tracking an aircraft and you think it could come here, but it could go tech. Things can go wrong. This is the nature of it. So we are taking a bit of a risk. Of course, one being Saturday, which... but the runway's open, the PAPI lights are on, ATIS is open. There's the PAPI lights. This gives you the eye. Not only does it tell you that the runway's open, but it also tells you that the runway, which runway is in use, and it's runway 24. So, welcome to our mystery stream. Please do like and share. Welcome, ladies and teddy bears. Now, what I'm expecting to see is something that was developed by RJ Mitchell. And this Type 300 prototype, an interceptor for Britain. And, Let's see. And anything else that comes along. Welcome to Raf Lakenheath, ladies, gents, teddy bears. Now, naturally, this is a United States Air Force in Europe base. They are part of the 48 Fighter Wing, and the 48 Fighter Wing is the only wing of the United States Air Force in Europe, or at least the only United States Air Force wing with a name and a number. It's got its name, Liberty Wing, and officially the Statue of Liberty Wing, and that's all because they moved and reactivated in 1952, ladies, gents and teddy bears, at Chaumont Air Base. Now, for those that are not familiar with Chaumont Air Base, ladies, gents and teddy bears, well, it's in France, and it was built, or at least the base, the 48th Fighter Bomb Wing, when they reactivated on the 10th of July 1952 at Chaumont Air Base. They weren't far away from the workshop of Bartholdi. Now, who's Bartholdi? Now, Bartholdi was the man himself who designed and built the Statue of Liberty. So it's at Chaumont-sur-Mortier in that region. And the mayor in 1954 decided to carry out a ceremony and give the 48 Fighter Bomb Wing an official naming ceremony. And he named the wing the Statue de la Liberté. So, with that in mind, this is why they're called Liberty Wing, or the Statue of Liberty Wing to be official. And if you look on the 48's badge, it has Statue de la Liberté written in French, which means Statue of Liberty. There's even they even made a 3-meter version, and there's also a replica version of the Statue of Liberty here at Lakenheath that I found out. So the base was opened in 1940, and it was operated by the Royal Air Force, hence Royal Air Force Lakenheath. But it wasn't until 1948 that the base was then reactivated as a United States Air Force in Europe base. So, how we doing, ladies and teddy bears? Hope we're all good. Hope we're all good. So we're just going to be patient now. I'll just swing this round. How we doing? Don't forget to hit the like button. Hope we're all good. Welcome, ladies, gents and teddy bears. My name's Nikos. I'm your cameraman and commentator. How are we all doing? Hope we're all good and enjoyed our trip to the north. So we did 2 days of Lossiemouth and 2 days at the Lake District to see low-flying aircraft, which we did on both days. We managed to tally up one MC-130J, thank you Mildenhall. We've seen one Typhoon, thank you very much Coningsby, and 4 F-15E Strike Eagles, along with 1 Texan as well. So thank you Lakenheath and thank you RAF Valley. My name's Nikos, I'm your cameraman and commentator. This is our squadron leader Ted Coningsby, and we're here on a day where we recommend not to come, but we believe there could be some warbirds with Duxford Air Show potentially hosting these particular aircraft. I'm not too sure. They could be coming here, so fingers crossed. The AWCU is right now on patrol, the PAPI lights are on and the runway's open, giving us the indication that things could happen. This is all good. So yeah, it's a good day for tea, it's sunny, it's a good day for Merlin engines, I think. Have I said too much? Well, maybe I have. Let's find out. Fingers crossed though, because at the end of the day, even if you know something is coming, it could not, there could be all sorts of reasons, it could be an issue with the aircraft, but all the signs that the runway's open are here, so that is a good sign. You can see the AWCU on patrol, which stands for Airfield Wildlife Control Unit. They will take care of all things wildlife, keeping the airfield and runway secure. They used to be formerly known as a BCU, the Bird Control Unit, but of course they deal with a lot more than just birds, although birds are their main thing, of course. Welcome to the Ted Coningsby channel. Welcome.
Who's going to turn up first? That's the thing. Oh, there were 4 F-35s from Vermont here yesterday.
Wow.
Gone back, went out, back to
Okay.
States. They were lurking in between
yeah.
in the hangars.
No, it was good. Jake Thompson, absolutely. What we'll do, we'll give you a lot of the history while when they land and get a refuel, I believe. I'll do a lot of the history. I was going to save a lot of the history for that because I'm not 100% sure exactly the inventory for today of what is coming here today. So let me just see what we've got.
Oh, he's got his bit over. Yeah, excellent.
Yeah, of course. And of course, I did mention the name Reginald Mitchell, the designer. Reginald Joseph Mitchell, who was born on the 20th of May 1895. And he is the man himself who designed and built the prototypes. Myself and Claire were lucky enough and fortunate enough to go to a Spitfire talk, and we saw many of the prototypes, such as the Type 224. There were many different types of designs for the Spitfire, because back then in late 20s, early 30s, the thing was the Schneider Trophy, and they were basically, it was a lot of awards, flying awards. This is where it all stemmed from, hence the Messerschmitt as well, the sporting Messerschmitt 108 as well. All these things were designed, seaplanes, you know, things for winning awards, and the Schneider Trophy was one of the key things that kind of led to the Air Ministry thinking, let's get an interceptor, let's get the right man for the job. And I believe it was Beverly Smith as well who developed, I hope I got that name right, who also took part in the designs. If you have a look at the early stages of the prototypes of, let's say, Type 224, which was, in the words of the Air Ministry, very disappointing. The wings were almost like, I'm going to try and describe it. I think actually Beverly Smith was the one that designed the elliptical wings. I hope I've got that right. I remember it was Beverly. I've even got a book here just so I can reference. Beverly Smith?
Beverly Smith, I'm not sure.
Okay, but I know it's Beverly. I remember that. If you look at the... Oh, you might be able to help. Is it the Corsair that's got the wing like that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So the Corsair
F4.
F4. Oh, get in there. So if you look at the Corsair, the 224 had the Corsair style wings where it dips down and then raises up. But it was the idea, it was the first monoplane developed, and the Air Ministry really needed something of an interceptor. But of course, with all the drawings, and the 224's career still had a bit of a problem. It wasn't quite, in fact, some of the prototypes ended up looking more like a Hurricane. The elliptical wings weren't around at the time. But if you look at some of the hindcore designs as well, obviously it's a step up. It's trying to keep up with the Joneses, shall we say, to make something better with the continental threat at the time. It was always on the mind of the Air Ministry to get something perfect, to be a, let's face it, one of the most iconic, successful fighters of this country. So we are hoping for this, and if we do get a P-51 as well, again a Rolls-Royce engine in that as well. So a lot of the developments that we see today holds hand in hand with the success of RJ Mitchell's. And it was the Type 300 that got the thumbs up for the approval. Oh, it was Beverly Shenstone. Sorry about that. So Beverly Shenstone worked on the aerodynamics of a new fighter. So Beverly Shenstone was the one to design the aerodynamics for the Spitfire, and he was the one that managed to get the final design for the very famous elliptical wings. The aircraft, when it finally went live with 19 Squadron, it was basically a match for the Messerschmitt 109. That was its kind of like, there were pros and cons with the both, let's say they both had one up on each other on different scenarios. They were a key thing, but with the developments of the Mark 1 and Mark 5, giving it that extra power, and the retractable cockpit as well, the canopy, it was I mean, it's a remarkable, if you think about such a successful, for me it is the most successful fighter for me. I would say, I think many people would agree, but it's just an iconic aircraft. Lots of marks, lots of different designs, even working up to a Griffin powered supercharged engine as well to make it a reconnaissance aircraft, where its form of defense wasn't armament, it was speed. I think it was over, I think it's about like 420 miles per hour on a piston engine, mate, that's just phenomenal. on a bird like that. And it's because it was a photo reconnaissance aircraft, the Mark 19 with its turbocharged Griffon engine, made it a very successful engine for that. So yeah, ladies, gents, teddy bears, we're coming up almost to time that we believe we shall see. I hope the times weren't Zulu. Otherwise we've got another hour to go, but then no worries.
Oh, yeah.
You right?
Yeah, some alright.
Oh, someone's put they're called gull wings, thank you. Thank you for that. Design for the wings, gull wings, thank you very much. Very good morning to you from Raf Lakenheath. So, let me just have a look at my... Oh, this could be it. That sounded...
Big call sign and location from Lakenheath.
Yes, it... it's a P-47, I think.
One flight, roger, and stand by.
Wow. Oh, wow, a P-47. I could be complete... do you know what? Here's me talking about a spit...
Legacy one flight, it consists of Golf Tango Hotel Uniform November and Golf Juliet Echo Romeo Kilo, P-47 and a P-51.
Okay.
One flight, roger, once exiting controlled airspace to the south.
Okay, so here's me talking about Spitfires. No, it's a P-47 and a P-51. Amazing. It's two.
It's two.
Yeah.
10 heading turn right, heading 180. It's going to maintain 2,600. Enter 180 at 2,600. Do you have an altimeter for logger 10? Logger 10, heavy altimeter 3041.
Okay. So here we go. See what I mean, though? That is really cool. Can you pass me the... Oh, actually, no, wait here, because they're coming. Right, ladies, gents, teddy bears, this is actually really good that we've got a P-47, an aircraft that served with the 48th. This makes it even more special because the P-47 was the aircraft that the 48th, with its 3 squadrons, this is absolutely amazing. You know, when I talk about the history of the aircraft, from 1944, which was called, like, nicknamed the Juggernaut. Now, the P-47 was the aircraft flown during the D-Day campaign and the Normandy campaign and the landings, and the success of the P-47 with the 48th. I don't want to take it away from the United States Army Air Forces as well, because all fighter squadrons played an absolutely crucial role. They saved many of their own men on the ground, many of the Allied men on the ground, you know, securing and also innovating the CAS, which is close air support. It is amazing. I'll explain later on. I didn't want to go too much into detail with the history because I wasn't too sure what was coming, but the P-47 was used by the 492nd, 493rd and the 494th. In fact, the 48th actually got themselves, and they were awarded a DUC, a Distinguished Unit Citation, for their 2,000 sorties during the Normandy campaign. Right. So it's a P-47 and a P-51. Wow. Oh. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe, ladies, gents, and teddy bears. Let's ride. Yes. please like. Don't forget, I've always said this is not like a Facebook or Instagram post. This, ladies and gentlemen, will help the channel grow. Oh, they've changed it to 23. It is now officially runway 23. And we've had a runway change. But not on there. Right, if you go on ADSB, if you can track them. Don't think they'll be. There they are. So, we're like that. I think they're going to come in and do some sort of fly past. Can you look out for them over here for me as well?
This way?
Yeah.
So where are they on this way?
So they're over here somewhere. Somewhere over here. You might need to duck.
Okay, no, that's fine, I will.
No, you've got to take it off. They don't show up as military. There it is. He's there, but you've got to turn.
Is that it? Wow, look at it.
Yeah. So you've got to turn it like that to match the runway.
Right.
So we're looking at it like that, and it's just to
so
our right.
Oh, okay.
Okay, right. Here we go. Yeah, you may need to duck.
That's fine.
It's a flight of 2,
Okay.
and I think they'll turn around that way.
Oh,
Oh gosh, there they are. There they are. Let's get them. Here we go.
No, don't worry.
Beautiful. You don't see that every day at Lakenheath. In fact, this suits it beautifully for the history of the 48th as well. Especially with that gorgeous P-47. Look at this. Don't forget to hit the like button, ladies, gents, teddy bears. Over 1,000 of you watching. Come on.
Lovely.
Beautiful.
The radar contact 10 miles west of Whole Beach under basic service local QNH 1029er. They report. Out of Leeds West and going to Newmarket requesting traffic service if possible down to Newmarket. Also, copy all. Are you under traffic service? They need to be going to Newmarket. Understood. Only traffic is 12 o'clock. 10 miles, slow moving up to 2,100 feet. Okay, that's copy. We're out of 90 right now to 3. Okay.
So is that going to be it for a while?
Yeah. So they will be departing as well, I believe. So now I'll have to put my history book away off the Spitfire. And the really nice thing is that we've got a P-47, which is a is one of the aircraft that was very much the 48th's aircraft during World War II. So they went on to fly the F-84. Where did the P-51 go? Is that gone?
Take a picture of you two with the bears. Closer.
Yes. Well, there we go.
Lovely.
What a lovely surprise.
Thank you.
That was lovely. Really nice. I thought it was going to be a Spitfire as well, but I didn't think there'll be the P-47, but nice one. Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. What a lovely surprise. We will be awaiting their departure as well, potentially in a couple of hours' time. But we'll run it. I'll talk a little bit about the history, although my script that I've got ready for today, especially with my Spitfire history book, well, I should have brought a different one today, but never mind, it's fine, it's all good. We can talk a little bit about... So, interestingly, they called runway 23, by the way.
Yes.
Did you hear it as well?
Yeah, using it yesterday.
Oh, really? So it is it's now...
official
Right,
now.
okay. I can change that there now. Well, that was absolutely lovely. Yeah, it was nice they did a little break as well.
Coffee time. Coffee and kerosene.
No burger van today?
No, sadly.
No.
Have you got some tipping?
We've got some Victoria slice sandwich thing.
I bought some snacks.
Yeah. Got a couple of snacks, haven't we, today? We stopped at the little M&S.
That was absolutely brilliant, ladies, gents and teddy bears.
Yeah.
Well, persons. It's obviously spotted who's filming it away. Filming the board, but
Oh, have you? Oh. Surprising how empty this book can be, but surprising how full it can get
Yes.
when it's really busy.
Was that the 492nd jet? That one, I believe. I think that's the 492nd. It had F4. think.
Talking about the two, the bird.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, the P-47 was that the Nelly? Yeah, yeah, Nelly. That's it. Right. So, ladies, sheds and teddy bears. That particular aircraft that we've seen, I didn't quite catch the markings of P-51.
No.
I think someone said maybe it might have been Jersey Jerk. If someone could confirm that, actually, if anyone could confirm that, I'll just find out. I can tell you a little bit about the history. But the markings that you've seen on the P-47, that was the 492nd, the fighter bomb squadron's markings, that one. In fact, if we go back in history, it was actually a fighter squadron during that time. That was absolutely brilliant. That was absolutely lovely. Wow, ladies, gents and teddy bears, what did you think of that? Oh, can you pass me that BC-10, that aircraft?
Yeah.
Is it there? Did we put it in there?
I think it's in the middle, yes.
Yeah.
Bear with me then.
Oh, we'll bear with the Claire.
Just got back on me. Just sitting where you are. So that one you are.
Ah, yeah. Thank you. So, yeah, ladies, gents, teddy bears, how are we doing? Hope you enjoyed that. So, while we wait for the two warbirds to refuel, we'll just talk a little bit about the history of the 48th, because that was absolutely magnificent. It was absolutely phenomenal to see that. And I've just tried to remember. You saw the F4. I didn't quite catch. I'll talk. Actually, I'll leave the P-51 for a moment, because in the inventory of the 48 fighter wing, I believe they did not fly a P-51 with that. They may have flown with them, with the fighter squadrons at the time. But if we go back in history, it's actually really cool, because I was actually going to get a model for you of the P-47, but we've got one in real life, which is really good. Now, before we talk about the history of Raf Lakenheath itself, we could maybe talk a little bit about the 48 fighter wing itself and how it developed. But it's so special to have the Thunderbolt here, the jug. I think it was nicknamed the jug because it was similar to kind of like a milk jug, I think it was. Let's have a look at my notes here, because of its profile, quite similar to a common milk jug of that time. Interesting. So there we go. But if we go back, we need to go back to the history and the roots of why we are here as well. Let's, for those that are our usual, will know a lot about the background now that I've said about the history of the base. In fact, we can even go prehistory as well. In fact, as far as the medieval period as well, with that, with the Lakenheath warrior. But what I'm going to do, I mean, if you want me to roll it back from the very, very top, we could also do that as well. I might as well, actually. We've got 2.5 hours, I might as well. Shall I do that? Should we go back in time? Okay, so why not? Why not? We'll do that. Why not? We're here anyway. I'll explain a little bit about the base as well and how it impacted certain things. But what we can do is talk a little bit about the actual vicinity that we're in. Where are we? What we're doing here? And why here? Which is pretty interesting question, really. Like with anything strategic, anything military. We've got the 5th to 6th centuries we need to go back to. In fact, we are in the official viewing area for Raf Lakenheath. This is open to the public as well, but of course there are housekeeping rules. Maybe I should start with them as well. Please don't touch the fence, damage the fence. Please put your litter in the bins provided, and if you can, as a channel, we always recommend to bring a bag and put your rubbish in the bag and either take it home with you, the litter, or put them in the bin. The reason why as a channel we recommend that, two things. One, it's a great habit. So when you go in plane spotting, some of the places you go to don't have bins, so you can put them in your bag and take it home. The other thing is, if you put a little tissue or something in the bin, it can fly straight out and it defeats the object. So yeah, don't climb the fence. Please don't rest your ladders on the fence. Basically don't touch the fence. Let's just protect and look after the property of other people, especially the Ministry of Defences or the United States Air Forces or the Royal Air Forces, anything like that. Anything that's not your property, please don't damage it in any way. Resting your ladders on the fence can start damaging the fence, and also if you were to fall, the first thing you're going to do is hold your hand out, and there's barbed wire. Ouch. It is a no drone zone as well, so please please, if you spot anyone, of course for yourselves, don't do it, even though you're not going to because you're watching the stream. But no laser pens as well, aiming at pilots and aircraft, it's a no, complete no. Now, I contacted the base straight away because I thought Saturday someone turning up, like I normally do anyway. I do that anyway, but I thought I better make sure I do it on a Saturday. Someone turning up with cameras and stuff and getting up on a van. In this day and age that we live in, I always feel that you can contact the base. Don't have that, decades ago, I remember it was always that stigma, that sort of like, oh yeah, it's the, it's the MOD police and all that stuff. They're there to help, and we're there to help them as well, as much as our own safety. We need to be in that mindset now to look after each other, and if we spot anything, especially this sad world that we live in right now, in the state that it's in, you can tell if there's someone suspicious, all right? You can tell. Don't go home thinking to be better safe than sorry, that kind of thing where you think, oh, should I have rang the base? Of course, if it's an emergency, call 999, without shadow of a doubt. But, I've reported many things, and, just to give you an idea, I won't tell you where it was, you probably can work it out, but these people weren't here for plane spotting, I can tell you that much. You're looking for, I don't want you getting that frame of like, oh, let's call the base as they look suspicious. You will know that they're not genuinely doing up to something. You will have that sort of like, mindset and think that's something not quite right. We're talking about scouting the area and looking around and just scouting around, looking for things, and just basically there's aircraft taking off and they're clearly not interested, all right? But we just got to be in that mindset. But those are the Ted Coningsby's housekeeping rules. Not so much spotting here, but there is an exit and entrance route here. There is a gate, but I was going to say crash gates, please, under no circumstances you park in front of them. There's a gate here that's not a crash, well, it could be a crash gate, but it's one that's in use all the time. Please do not park it in front of that gate. You will be told to leave, and you don't want to be in that situation. Right, so, ladies, gents, teddy bears, as I said, 5th to 6th centuries. If we're going back in time, we're going to go way back in time. We're going about 1600 years, let's say. What was here? Well, this vicinity was used by the Anglo-Saxons. In fact, you could also think they had a taste. This was a hub for military. Why? Well, there was a lot of the Saxon warriors, the Lakenheath warrior. Check this out. Because as we go on, obviously, I don't know too much about what was going on in that period, as in who was there, their names and stuff like that, but it was a hub for Anglo-Saxon, and it was thriving. There's villages. In fact, it has everything, really. If you've got lots of forest, what are you going to use that for? Use the wood to build your house, etc., etc. You can build, you can start making accommodation, and you can start making farming quarters and all the living conditions for that time period. Perfect. Wood to make fire, etc. So, but if we go back to a period where we started to excavate and find out about our past, there was Lady Briscoe, who was the founder, or was the founder of Mildenhall Museum. In fact, she was a amateur, or at least an archaeologist. Now, with permission, they did some excavations to what they believed were what's called burial mounds. Now, to the trained eye, I could see a couple of burial mounds and earthworks in the vicinity of this car park. What are they? Well, most of these are burial mounds, but the thing is, what's in them? Okay, there'll be maybe some like human remains, etc. However, not all of them are your everyday person. Some of them are buried with jewellery, some of these people are buried with spears and swords and weapons, and some even buried with their animals, like a horse. So they did some excavations to the south of the base. However, it was another 40 years later after Lady Briscoe's discovery, because she did find some skeletons and human remains dating back to the Anglo-Saxon. However, during the early 90s, mid-90s, you may have noticed as well, as you drive up to the base, that there's buildings that kind of look not new, but that 90s style. Basically, they're not from 1940s, is what I'm trying to say. So there was also a baseball stadium there, which they've made into an athletic stadium now. So because they were going to build new buildings and stuff, they had permission to excavate where Lady Briscoe was excavating, because, you know, you kind of need the permission from the council to do that. So because they were going to build new dormitories for the base, they were allowed permission from the council, while it was all in rubble, to start excavating before the main bulldozing and building the new things. They found Lady Shed's teddy bears over 420 graves. Wow. Hundreds of those, you know, a couple of hundred, I believe, was in the stadium. Interesting. They found thousands of beads, glass beads, jewellery, spearheads, shields, swords, everything. But one of them in particular was a man, remains of a 5'10" man, dated back to the 5th to 6th century. And they found a sword, a shield. Now, the shield, they only found the boss of the shield. That's the centre metal part. But of course, the shield would have been made in wood, so that disintegrated. Jewellery, all the spearheads, and his horse. They think it was his horse, but he was buried with a horse. That's not your usual burial. There's lots of different types of burials. You can Google this and do a search in. There's bell barrows, round barrows, disc barrows, pond barrows. These are singular burials for one person, and of course a horse. They even found offerings as well. They've named this person the Lakenheath Warrior, and you can find all the finds at Mildenhall Museum now. Not the base, but the actual Mildenhall Towns Museum. It is amazing. Please make sure you add that to your list and check the times before you go of its opening times. So yeah, a hub for military even 1600 years ago. As we roll on to the 18th century, so another 1,000 years later, let's say, the whole vicinity, in fact, there was even a Lakenheath Hall. There was a very posh estate round here for gamekeeping. Yes, one would have some rabbit warrens, and yeah, there was rabbit warrens, and the whole vicinity. You can see the forests. I'll show you. You can see behind me as well, Thetford Forest. It was thriving in gamekeeping. There was lots of like real lovely mansion houses and stuff. Trying to locate some. I think one of them's by the church, but what's left of it, I don't know. As we start going into 1900s, 1915, First World War, the area was used as a air weapons range, so you'd have biplanes dropping bombs with your hands and stuff like that. Around here, very, very interesting. As we start to go into mid-1930s, so 1934, RAF Mildenhall was built, and to my right, Mildenhall is about 5.5 miles away the backwards crow flies, and very similar, I think a little bit closer, or about the same, 5.5 miles away the backwards crow flies, is RAF Feltwell. Now, that was built in 1936, so you got the two bases there, and slap bang in the middle was Lakenheath Warren. All right, it wasn't built just yet. So, with that in mind, you've got the Hayford bomber, very interesting aircraft. Me and Julian would have a look at the Hayford bomber. Got its name from the fact that it was built at Upper Hayford. It was basically a huge biplane as a bomber, amazing. And then of course they went on to flying the Wellington bomber, and then after that the Short Stirling. The reason why I mention the Wellington bomber is what you've got. Eventually, when Mildenhall was thriving, you then start to need a lot more of your training units to train the airmen and pilots. So Mildenhall opens in 34, Feltwell in 36. Now, you're going to need a defence if you've got airfields, especially with the war starting to, the continental threat started to get more realistic, and World War II. But of course, 1936, war hasn't even started, was in the declaration of the start of the Second World War. Didn't quite happen yet until September 1939. So, what they decided to do was to make Lakenheath in 1940 a decoy airfield. What is a decoy airfield? There was even decoy villages as well. These are fake. These are a cunning, really prehistoric primitive. A primitive thought, but very effective. It's deception is a good form of defence. Yes, you can have anti-aircraft cannons, etc., but it only takes one bomb to hit your airfield and you will be basically deactivated. So what they decided to do was build around the country, not just here, what was called decoy airfields. There were two types. There was a Q site and a K site. K site for daytime operations and Q site for nighttime operations. The village of Erisvale actually provided the plywood and made the Wellington bombers, the fake ones. They actually had a fake airfield, a fake runway, fake Wellington bombers, everything to make it look like Mildenhall, for example. There'll be an officer in a bunker with a lovely inspiring sign to say your job every night is to get bombed. That's very exciting. But if you work it out, that was the idea. Now, from the records that I've been reading, Lakenheath was struck and attacked 5 times, saving Mildenhall and potentially Feltwell. That's 5 times, so it clearly worked. Also, you look up Operation Starfish as well. These are controlled explosions. So on your active base, you can actually make a controlled explosion to make the enemy think that they have hit your target, that have hit their target and have hit your runway. There was also decoy villages, so like painted, like all these little buildings were all painted to make them look like they were real. But this affected the village nearby as well, because if you're going to have a nighttime Q site, you need that village to cooperate and turn their lights off. It was a very dangerous time to live during that period, because you would have to turn your lights off. Cyclists were made to turn their lights off as well, and I believe they had red lights on. If you had a torch, they were told to put tissue in them to hide. It was. I mean, the impact on the village was real. It was unbelievable. The village actually, very well, actually raised some money as well for a Spitfire. I know we spoke about the Spitfire, which didn't come because I got that wrong, or at least I thought potentially we were going to have a Spitfire. But the village also raised they had a fundraising for a Spitfire. Before I tell you the total, have a guess how much a Spitfire cost in 1940. Yep, they raised just short of £9,000, and I believe a Spitfire was anywhere between £10,000 and £12,000 for a new one. I know, how cool is that? Anyway, eventually then, it was decided that Lakenheath would operate as a satellite station. So basically, Mildenhall will manage and use Lakenheath. All the way from Scotland, 20 operational training unit, as a matter of fact, that we learned from RAF Lossiemouth. So I can add this bit in now, and I found out why they came here. So they found it strategically tactical to use Lossiemouth to carry out bombing raids on submarines and ships during World War II. So the operations for training at Lossiemouth weren't really taking place as much as they wanted to. So they moved 20 operational conversion unit far away from Lossiemouth. They came here. Now their aircraft was the Wellington bomber. Now, if you've got an aircraft, you need someone to train it. Now, there was various training units, such as an operational training unit, abbreviated as OTU. There was also heavy conversion unit and heavy glider conversion unit. So you had all these operational units, like today's operational conversion unit. So you've then got 20 operational training unit here to train the crew of 149 and 99 and 199. There was all sorts of squadrons there, but 149 and 199 squadrons were the ones operating the Wellington bomber, and of course the short Stirlings. Eventually there was a Royal Canadian Air Force, thanks to Julian for that one, 419 squadron, thank you for that. They also operated out of Mildenhall as well. They were part of Free Bomb Group. And interestingly, it was where number 5 group formed first at RAF Mildenhall as well, which was quite cool. They formed there, but they moved to Lincolnshire. So as it became a satellite station then, this is one thing I like to add. If you look at the KC-135 and the actual station crest of RAF Mildenhall, a United States base, at the time, well, go back. If you look at today's KC-135s, and if you look at the station badge for RAF Mildenhall, United States Air Force Base, I've got myself muddled there, but you'll get there. The same station crest on the front of the main gate is the same as Mildenhall's. Now, I'm wondering if that's because it was a satellite station. So the badge I'm in question is the one with the Greek pillar, the Ionian pillar with the eagle on top. So you would have seen it on the KC-135. The reason why they use that because it was the original and is still the main badge for the base. But Lakenheath have the same one, and I'm wondering if it's because it was a satellite station. Anyway, you can see that on the main gate as you drive past. So eventually in 1943, Lakenheath actually became an independent base. for itself. In fact, it was running on its own with the two squadrons, and eventually operational training unit did go back to RAF Lossiemouth. The base was closed between 1945 to 57 because it was one of these bases where they were going to operate the Boeing Washington. What is a Boeing Washington? Well, it's a B-29, but the Royal Air Force called it a Boeing Washington. However, the plans for that were actually going to be put in place for the United States base as well. It was actually, just before it opened again, it was part of Bomber Command's Signals School as well. And the base reopened in 1948 as a heavy bomber base for the United States Army Air Force. The very first squadron to use the base of the United States Army Air Force from 1948 was the 2nd Bombardment Group, and eventually there was rotational deployments as well, and squadrons such as bomb groups such as the 307th Bomb Group, and lots of Strategic Air Command deployments, etc. So from 1948, RAF Lakenheath became a United States Army Air Force base. That is the key date. So 1940 to 1948, RAF. 1948 to today, it is still used by the United States Air Force, to be exact, in Europe. And their headquarters are actually at Ramstein Air Base, and they're part of the 3rd Air Force. Now then, let's talk a little bit about the 48th itself. So the 48th, right, we got to go back quite far. We're going back in 1941. In fact, we're going on the 15th of January 1941. The United States Army Air Corps activated the 48th Bombardment Group Light at Hunter Field, Savannah in Georgia, USA. The first squadrons to be assigned and activated to the group were the 55th, the 56th and 57th Bombardment Group, in brackets light. There were lots of these different roles in brackets as well, like heavy, light. There was even dive. It was a specific role that they played. Let's face it, things just develop and evolve. There was a 4th squadron. Again, you may not know who they are, but I'll explain. They were the 9th Reconnaissance Squadron. Right, I had a look at the badges and I still haven't got anything to give you yet, but the 57th Bombardment Squadron, they had a bomb with a Panther on it. You'll know why in a minute. The 55th it's an old photo, it's quite pixelated. It does look like an eagle looking through the scope with the bomb dropping. You know who that one belongs to. The 9th Reconnaissance Squadron, all I can see is a cat with a camera on some sort of aircraft. I can't figure out if they are the Flying Tigers. I don't know, but I did see 9 stars, I think, on there. Anyway, we'll talk a little bit about that in a moment. There were 54 of these activations in total of these bombardment groups, and they were known as Aviation Objective, and they were activated in preparation for World War II. Initially, the 48th they were training in, they were flying all sorts of aircraft, such as the Cuba, the A-24, A-36s. I think the P-39, I think it was. I like to say I'm going to add a few more of these things. Anyway, 2 years later, on the 15th of August, 1943, at Key Field, there was a new designation. Basically a new name and a new role for the objective for these activations of the 48th. The 48th had a name change. They were the Fighter Bomb Group now. They weren't the Bomb Group, they were the Fighter Bomb Group. And the flying squadrons were renumbered. They were redesignated to ones that you know now. They were redesignated, so the 55th became the 492nd Fighter Bomb Squadron. The 56th became the 493rd Fighter Bomb Squadron, and the 57th became the 494th Fighter Bomb Squadron. But what happened to the 9th Reconnaissance Squadron? Well, they became the 495th Fighter Bomb Squadron. You know that one, the 495th, because that's who are here today. But we'll talk about that. They became an operational unit. Now, ladies and teddy bears, as a turn of events, it wasn't until that very day that Pearl Harbor was attacked, and that was kind of like the trigger point. And in 1944, the main aircraft in the inventory of the 48th was the one we've just seen now, the Jug, the P-47 Thunderbolt. And they were carrying out coastal patrol missions. One of the benefits as well of the P-47 that I will explain about is it had an air-cooled engine. basically these aircraft would always come back with more holes than cheese. I don't know. I'm just. I should really, you know, it had more damage than the moon. It had more. Because of the air-cooled engine, as opposed to liquid. If your engine is shot to bits, you'll leak the fuel. It would overheat. It's game over for your engine. So that was a key thing for the Jug, the P-47. It could take a lot of battle damage. I've seen some ridiculous photos of them coming back. I know a lot of it would be really luck for any pilot to go through that, but I'll go into detail. So the P-47s of the 48th were carrying out coastal patrol missions and looking out for you know, any enemy attacks, and especially with the Pearl Harbor attack, this was the trigger point. On the 21st of March 1944, the men of the 48th set sail of the fighter bomb group. They set on board the Queen Mary and eventually got to RAF Ibsley, somewhere I really want to visit. I don't know what's left of it, but I'd love to visit it. The other thing, ladies and teddy bears, for whatever reason, the 495th Fighter Bomb Squadron, they actually inactivated. So it was only the Ibsley. Now, from there, they carried out rigorous training. Dive bombing, glide bombing, night flying, low level, smoke laying. The sorties increased, and eventually they would lead to an innovative style of combat to support the army on the ground, the Allies on the ground as well. In fact, they saved many lives, the 48th, as well as the other fighter squadrons and groups that were there. On the 20th of April 1944, they were given their first combat mission, which was a fighter sweep over France. A month later, on the 30th of May, the title bomber dropped. This is quite crucial when they do that, because it means they're changing roles. They became the 48th Fighter Group, and the squadrons were called Fighter Squadrons. And it was on D-Day, 6th of the 6th, 1944. The 48th, with all they've been trained to do, took part in Operation Overlord, the D-Day landings, the invasion of France. In fact, they dropped bombs over bridges with their P-47s. They took out gun positions, railway lines, provided reconnaissance. In fact, they assisted I think they were part of the 9th Fighter Group, assisting the 9th Air Force, sorry, beg your pardon, the 9th Air Force, assisting, I think it was the 2nd Army Air Corps on the ground, if I remember correctly. Now, this led to a lot of innovative ideas and strategy. In fact, as they got closer into France, because the P-47 was also an escort for bombers, they also they had a very good range, but then the range got better, because if you think about it, if they're escorting aircraft from Britain, that's fuel they're using to get to where they need to be and go back. They ended up in France, which was even better, because by the time they did that, they had lots of fuel. So the 14th actually took part in over 2,000 sorties. Now, I believe there was on D-Day, I think it was something like 14,000 sorties. 2,000 of those were just from the 48th. They were even awarded a DUC, a Distinguished Unit Citation. Now, the support that I was going to say, now, the P-47s, they must have seen a sight on that ground on D-Day. They must have witnessed something unbelievable to them. It's interesting to remember that, you know, aircraft did take part in, a lot of aircraft did take part in assisting on those landings and the invasion of France and the Normandy campaign. In fact, the 48th, with the P-47, developed an amazing strategy. They took out a lot of vehicles. In fact, I think it was Saint Lo as well, as the Germans, the enemy were of World War II. They were receding further back. Now, when I mentioned about close air support, now what they would do, one of the 48's role was to drop bombs and take out all these vehicles. And one of the things they would use, I haven't got a P-47, you'll have to do with the VC-10. It's what's called a splitter S that they really, the A-10 would use this as well today. It was an innovative style of combat. It was amazing, because I've watched documentaries on how they would do this. I mean, you could arm that P-47 very, very heavily, and it would come back with so much battle damage. It was amazing it got back. And its weakness would be the flak, the anti-aircraft. It was basically luck. But they'll see the way they would do it. They'll see a row of vehicles on the ground, and what they would do if the traffic's going this way, they'll go a certain height, and actually, what they'll do, they'll go past it, and what's called a split S. So they'll dive, turn, and drop all its bombs. Like that. Okay, so that's how they would do it. They'll go past their target, go right to where they need to go back, and they'll go back and they'll dive down, back, away from the target, turn, and go in and attack. That's what's called a split S, and they would use that. And then eventually, as the Allies would progress and try to take as much as France back as possible and liberate the country, what they would find, the tactics on the ground from the opponents, they would hide their tanks. They would hide all their heavy tanks, and attacking was more of a surprise attack to them. Well, the thing is, you've got eyes in the sky. So what they would do, they saved a lot of the troops' lives by doing a patrol, and then saying they could either attack the tanks if it was safe to do so, so it wouldn't obviously send out an ambush on the troops on the ground. But what they would do, they would either let the Allies know that, yeah, you got some tanks in the forest, because that's camouflaged at the end of the day. So it was a very innovative time and tactics, and they were very successful, the 48th, with that very aircraft. It's amazing that we actually got to see the very aircraft that I've been talking about. It was called the Jug, and that one that we've just seen, let me just double check I've got that. So that one you've seen was called, I believe, Nelly. Now, you may have noticed the F4. And what's really cool, and I really love this, is the fact that that was the marking of the 492nd Fighter Squadron, the very aircraft that we were just talking about in its history. So, and obviously the next letter, I think it was a U. The third letter, it's just it's an identifier for that aircraft. It's the J flight, or that one was the U. I think it was U that we seen. So it's very, very interesting to see that. I can't believe we actually did, because I was thinking, I wish I had a P-47, but we've actually had one in the real life. If you want to know more about the 48th after the war, of course, the 48th found their base still in France today. Still in France at that time. I mean, after World War II, Europe was split, civil wars, people had disagreements. So the US increased its combat wing, and the 48th Fighter Bomb Wing activated on the 10th of July 1952 at Chaumont. A year later, the 492nd were actually, they formed the Sky Blazers. Who were the Sky Blazers? They were an aerobatics team, just like the Thunderbirds, but obviously they were using the F-86. If I remember correctly, they had the F-84s and then went on to the F-86. And in 1954, like I said, the mayor was so pleased. You got to remember that, how grateful France were for the the 48th and all the the United States Army Air Force and the Allied formation to liberate them, and United States Army Air Force spent a lot of time in France, especially the 48th. So the mayor did the ceremony, and this is really cool because this is where Lakenheath Liberty Wing gets its name from. Is because in the mayor in Chaumont-sur-Mortier was the actual base is near the workshop of Bartholdi, like we said, and he designed and built the Statue of Liberty. So he named them Statue de la Liberté, which is on the badge itself today. Really, really cool. The 492nd actually operated as the Sky Blazers aerobatics team just for 3 years, up until 1956. I can't remember which squadron took over after that. It could have been the 36th, but don't hold me to that one. They did briefly inactivate just towards the end of 1957, but they reactivated a year later as the 48th Tactical Fighter Wing. Now, this is a big turning point for the 48th. You'll notice there's a lot of name and title drops and name changes. Now, the 48th Tactical Fighter Wing meant one thing: a new weapon. Basically, a new aircraft, which was the F-100D Super Sabre. This is a turning point because this is when things changed. On the 15th of January 1960, with the F-100s, the 48th moved here to Lakenheath. So between 1948 and 1960, we were 48thless at Lakenheath, but they came here with their F-100Ds. Now then, let's talk a little bit about some changes. We just mentioned markings, very important markings if you want to regroup. Markings here at Lakenheath, what are they for the regulars? They all know it's LN, I get it, but not always. You see, we just seen F4. What does that mean? Don't know. In fact, where's the blue? It just shows that the red. Forgot to mention the red on the P-47 was an indicator for the 492nd, believe it or not. But it was also to identify friend from foe. They would have that red marking as well. But anyway, they decided to change the marking system for Lakenheath. They had the letter L for each of the aircraft, but an extra letter for the squadron. LR, LS and LT, 492nd, 493rd, 494th. So the 494th was LT. But they changed the colours. The 492nd had a blue tail flash. The 493rd Grim Reapers had a yellow. The 494th had red. And you can see this perfect example at Newark Air Museum. And I believe Nellie, is she based, I say Nellie, she, aircraft, female. I believe that one's based at Duxford. I could be wrong on that one, but it could be, because I remember people have told me there is a P-47 with the bowlers, Mad Hatters. Anyway, so that was the marking system. So you can actually see an LT, F-100D, F-494th Tactical Fighter Squadron, F-100D at the Newark Air Museum here in the UK, and I believe that P-47 you can see at Duxford, I think, if I'm correct. I'm probably going to get messages galore in a moment. I'll keep an eye out on that. So yeah, there you go. So they had the F-100 until 1972. Now in 1972 the Phantoms arrived, and for whichever reason the marking system changed again. They got rid of the 2-digit system, as in the second letter to identify the squadron. They changed it to one set, which was LK. Good old Henk Verheul, Phantom Fanatic, has a beautiful photo of this, because Henk Verheul's actually got LK as one of our members, who's got a photo, and it's got a Phantom and it's got LK. Why is that? Why am I mentioning that? Well, it's rather special because they got rid of it after a few months. Don't know why. In 1973, the LK was scrapped and they started to use LN. Don't know why. I have no idea. Was there another area with, I don't know. But that was only for 5 years they had the Phantom, because the US Air Ministry, I guess the Air Corps, were developing the F-111, because in 1977, not only do we welcome the F-111, hello. Not only do we welcome the F-111 Aardvark, ladies and gentlemen, we finally, after over 33 years, the 495th come back. That's right. But they weren't called the Valkyries, the 495th Tactical Fighter Squadron. They were called the 495th Tactical Fighter Squadron. They were called the Thundervarks, hence Aardvark. I get it. Totally cool. Another thing to notice, if you see TFW or TFS, that's the Tactical Fighter Squadron or Tactical Fighter Wing of the 48th. If you've got a patch with the TFW or TFS, that's old school. That's basically from 1960 to 1992, I'm going to go for. 1992. That's pretty old school because it changed, and we'll get to that part in a moment. Now then, during the time of the F-111, the 48th took part, the Tactical Fighter Wing took part in El Dorado Canyon. It was the largest, and it is still, I believe it's the largest combat fighter mission, as in the fighter aircraft, the fighter mission. That was in 1986, and the 48th took part in that with their F-111s. In fact, it was raids over Libya. There was, I believe it was 6 particular targets that they had to do. 3,500 miles, all because of flying restrictions. I believe it was 13 hours of flying to do a raid, and it's the longest combat fighter mission. It's not a bombing mission, it was a fighter mission, which I understand is Black Buck, but then there's another one now. The 48th were also involved in the Gulf War as well. This is when things kind of like changed then, because as we started to get into 1991, with everything they've just been through, the El Dorado Canyon, all the lessons learned from the Gulf War, it was time for another title drop and a reorg, shall we say, because in 1991, as we said goodbye to the final F-111 aardvark. Again, the 490-50 inactivated again, but we will come back to them in a moment. We will come back to them. So where are we now? So we're up with 4 squadrons, right? Just before I'm about to tell you that the F-111's deactivated in December of 1991. With that in mind, as the last F-111 departed, that saw the inactivation of the 495th. Now, we're left now with just the 3 squadrons and a little change. 1992 started to see the Strike Eagles arrive, and then in 93-94, the 493rd Fighter Squadron, they then operated the old school F-15C and D. Now, the tactical fighter wing, the tactical dropped in 1991-92 because they were now called the 48th Fighter Wing. Just for your info, the flying component of the 48th Fighter Wing is actually the 48th Operations Group. That is the actual flying component. The wing is the whole scope, medical, communications, all of them like that. So from 1994 we've got Eagles, F-15C and D Eagles, and we also got F-15E. The F-15C and D were just solely for the Grim Reapers, the 493rd. Okay, hence at the time you had Eagles with you still have Eagles with the 3 colours on there: red, yellow, and blue. All right. I've probably done them in the wrong order, but never mind. We'll see one hopefully on Monday or Tuesday or wherever I'm back. So yeah, there you go. So we're almost up to the Eagle era, and it wasn't until 2021 finally that the 495th came back again after 30 years of being deactivated, making Lakenheath the very first F-35A wing of the United States Air Force in Europe. How cool. So they activated back. They were then called the Valkyries. They had a name change. They weren't called the Thunderbolt, so they don't operate the Aardvark anymore. So there we go. So we're there. Also, a little brief inactivation of the 493rd. They said goodbye to their F-15 Eagles, their C&Ds, which you can see having a little peekaboo sometimes. They use it as like a training airframe, for example. And yeah, so they operated they inactivated very briefly, and they also fly the F-35A. So we're up to today. So we're left with 2 squadrons that fly the F-15E Strike Eagle, which is the 492nd Fighter Squadron, the Mad Hatters, locally known as the Bowlers because they wear the bowler hat, and also the 494th Fighter Squadron, the Panthers, who I believe flew through the Lake District yesterday. Thank you. And we've got 2 F-35A squadrons, who are the 493rd Fighter Squadron, the Grim Reapers, and the 495th Fighter Squadron, the Valkyries. And here we are today, going back in time, watching a P-51 Mustang and a P-47 Thunderbolt. Ladies and gentlemen, my name's Nikos. Hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to go and have a cup of tea. By the way, you're probably thinking what else is going to happen. A departure. I'm hoping to see these off. See you in a bit. Hello, I'm having a cup of tea. Oi, oi, you right in there? How's it all going? Oh, White Wizard enjoyed that. Thanks, White Wizard man, what up? What's that, sorry? One day. I'm going to have a cup of tea. I think I deserve a cup of tea after that. Yeah, I think they enjoyed that. I'm going to have a cup of tea. Go. Depart. And that's it. Yes. What a lovely day. believe it? P-47. I love the fact that I got my Spitfire book and it didn't come. Yeah. Just having a cup of tea, ladies, gents, teddy bears after that. Lovely seeing you. Raf Lakenheath, here we go on a Saturday again, boy. Yeah. He does make everything better. You're bringing it apart from attacking me with it. Oh dear. I've got the marigolds under the plastic disposable ones, the half ones under the seat. The other one, I believe, or in the top. They're somewhere, either in the top. How we doing, ladies, gents, teddy bears? Hope we're all good. Ted Coningsby channel live here at Raf Lakenheath, and we just caught the warbirds. Beautiful P-47 Thunderbolt and a P-51, and I'm so glad they had markings of the 492nd Fighter Squadron. Absolutely amazing. And of course, loving the P-51. Thanks for all your kind words about the about my little history there. Ted's just popping up on the screen in a moment. Thank you very much, and if you could all hit the like button, be much appreciated. Of course, this will help our channel grow in numbers as well, especially when they're when we're hoping the two warbirds will depart, hopefully in about an hour's time, perhaps. Thank you very much. Lots of Lots of new members. We've got Jay, Guards March. Thank you for joining the Ted Coningsby Squadron. Paul Warren as well. Thank you for joining the Ted Coningsby Squadron. Matt Cat Lady as well. Thank you as well for joining the Ted Coningsby Squadron. And Nick Samuels. Thank you for joining us. Margot Baxter, high five, Guards March. Thank you very much for gifting a Ted Coningsby membership. Babzar as well, high five, Guards March. Thank you for that. Paul M. Hennings as well, high five, Guards March. Thank you for gifting a Ted Coningsby membership. And Margot Baxter, thank you very much for your super. Dave Darking, thank you very much for the super as well. Thank you so much. Kevin Griffiths as well, thank you for the super. Guards March. And White Wizard gifting a Ted Coningsby membership. Thank you very much, Guards March. High five. Margot Baxter, thank you very much for the super, the dancing super there. That's cool. Dave Allen, member for 5 months. Thank you very much for being a member for 5 months. Pat Galloway, who's so pleased to be part of this channel. Pat is celebrating 7 months of membership. Margot Baxter gifting 5 Ted Coningsby memberships. High five, Guards March. Keith Smith, Nikos, Ted Kleber and the Spanner crew, thanks for everything you do. Thank you so much, Guards March. Purple Drecky, great history presentation, Nikos. Seeing the P-47 was amazing. Oh, bless you. Thank you very much, Guards March. And the car park's starting to get full now. Cool. Colin Patterson, towards coffee, cake, salmon and fuel. Thanks for all that you do. Thank you very much, Guards March. Keith Smith, to all the great people in the chat, thank you very much, Guards March. Pat Galloway as well, Guards March. Thank you, Nikos, and everyone involved with this great channel. Guards March, thank you very much. EP65, thanks for the education. Great, Guards March. And my girl, the AV Spotter, love a weekend stream. I hate missing you guys while I'm at school. Bless. Guards March, thank you very much. Well, keep going at school. It's not forever, and you learn something, and it's worth it in the end because it will get you to places. So stay in school, learn all you can, because look what Ted's achieved by learning. Oh, he's off. Can't believe I brought my Spitfire book and it didn't come. But we did have a P-47. That was absolutely incredible. So again, we had the P-51 Mustang as well, and the P-47D Thunderbolt Nelly, I believe, with the registration Golf Tango Hotel uniform November, and it's part of the Fighter Aviation Engineering Limited, and it's for those want a bit of tech, it's powered by Pratt & Whitney 2851 M1 engine. It's a beautiful aircraft, and it's got with the checkered nose with the red band and the red rudder, and it's got the 492nd markings F4. Now, a bit like the Royal Air Force's scheme, using the second letter as the identifier for the aircraft. This one's got the letter J, not U. It looked like a U from there, but I've looked back and it is a J. So the nickname, the Jug, with its amazing, successful air-cooled engine as well, making it quite versatile, even with battle damage as well. The early P-47s did feature what's called a Razorback canopy configuration, and it had the tall fuselage spine behind the pilot. But this resulted in, for the pilots, a very poor visibility from the rear of the aircraft. It is a very heavy aircraft, the P-47, but it was a hugely successful high altitude escort and ground attack, as we mentioned, using that tactic, using the split S to dive and strafe, and it was formidable. Over 15,000 Thunderbolts were produced were used and produced in the Second World War. They saw service in pretty much every single operational theatre for during the Second World War. But of course, this beauty has been restored as well. And of course, we're also seeing today the the North American aviation P-51 Mustang, which was a long-range single-seat fighter and fighter bomber used during the Second World War. It was also used during the Korean War as well, and among other conflicts. And there were many bases here in the UK, Kingscliff, Bottisham as well, RAF Bottisham. A lot of fighter groups here around the country, especially this part of the country as well. The Mustang's design was to use the Allison V1710 engine without the export sensitive turbocharger or multi-stage supercharger, but it resulted in limited high altitude performance. Now, the aircraft was first flown operationally and very successfully by the Royal Air Force and as a tactical reconnaissance aircraft and fighter bomber, which was the Mustang Mark I. In mid-1942, the development project known as the Rolls-Royce Mustang X replaced the Allison engine with the Rolls-Royce Merlin 65 two-stage intercooled supercharged engine. Now, during the testing at Rolls-Royce's airfield in Hucknall in England, it was clear the engine dramatically improved the aircraft's performance at altitude as well, because of course aircraft, they do have a maximum altitude that they can perform at their most optimum, and this was done without sacrificing range. The definitive version in the end, the P-51D, was powered by the Packard V1657, a license-built version of the two-speed, two-stage supercharged Merlin 66, and was armed with 650 caliber 12.7mm AN M2 Browning machine guns. Now, it's got that distinctive sort of whistling sound. It's a bit like blowing into an angle in a bottle, where it makes that sort of like whistling noise. Is similar to that. So it's the open ports of the armament of the cannons produce that sound. So lengthwise, the P-51 is slightly shorter. The length of the P-47 is 36 feet, and just over 36 feet. That's 11.02 meters. The P-51 is 32 feet. That's 9.83. Wingspan 40 foot for the, or just under 41 foot actually, 12.43 meters. And the wingspan of the P-51 is 37 feet. That's 11.28. So a little bit of a bit of a size difference. The jug looks a beast, doesn't it? Sits higher as well by a foot. Even the wing area is 300 square feet. That's 28 square meters of the P-47, and the wing area is 235 square feet for the P-51. That's 21.8 meters squared. Empty weight 10,000 pounds. That's 4.5 1,000 kilos for the P-47. The P-51 is 7,635 pounds. That's 3,463 kg. That's pretty. Yeah, it's different, isn't it? So the P-47 powered by the Pratt & Whitney R2 2859 18 cylinder. That's the air-cooled radial piston engine, 2,000 horsepower. Oh yeah, that sounds pretty cool. The of course the P-51, as mentioned, it's got the Packard, the Rolls-Royce V16507 Merlin 12-cylinder liquid-cooled engine. Now that's the difference there with the air-cooled and the liquid-cooled. Performance was max speed at 440 miles per hour for the P-51 and 426 miles per hour for the P-47. Don't forget to hit that like button, ladies, gents and teddy bears. Do support the channel. Just have a cup of tea. Maybe Ted and I can do a Q&A as well. Again, as mentioned, you can, when I got here I knew things were going to be good. First of all, the airfield was open. That's a good sign, because using the ATIS, and of course the PAPI lights were on. If you are limited to Saturdays, of course, this is just an exception, but Mildenhall is always your best bet.
What time do you think they go?
I think 11:30. Yeah, they come down as far as here. I was hoping the catwalk was open, because I was like,
That'd be really trouble. We could go halfway down the line.
yeah, you're going to go further down south. Yeah, should be. Yeah, this is shit. Or if they taxi across the line. Yeah, that one has.
And it took off.
I did it. Oh, no.
I don't think it was Jersey Joe.
No. No, there's another one, isn't there?
The blue and silver ones, that's a regular open.
Yeah.
Duxford.
I think they're from Duxford. Hello. You're probably better off going all the way down the end. You go out here and walk down and get the fence. Because I've got a funny feeling.
Yes.
You know where the burger van normally goes?
Yeah.
You go down there, you got a fence like this, because we think they'll be taken off further down.
Could be.
Oh,
You have to come. You have to come.
go, let me
Yeah.
know.
So you can get some video through there. Yeah. Yes.
When's best to go down there?
It's Frosted back.
Oh, is it?
Need 20 minutes or so to get down.
Oh,
Yeah, that might be better than the winch out. I think that went, didn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
it
gone
went
down.
It went down.
Yeah, it's gone.
Let's see what's it. Sorry.
How we doing, ladies and gents, teddy bears? Hope we're all good. Welcome to our little surprise mystery stream. Wonder what people thought turning up at Lakenheath on a Saturday, eh? But yeah, I actually thought it was going to be a Spitfire, so never mind, that got me to learn. I'll be reading that later on, because I'm sure we're going to come across many Spitfires through our Ted Coningsby adventures. So yeah, we just I'm anticipating a departure maybe in the next hour or two, so we've still got a little bit of time just to chill. Maybe I could do a Q&A for you if you like. It's been a brilliant week, hasn't it? This is our last stream of the week. There is no stream tomorrow. We're going to take a little break, and it's been incredible. So I believe this is our 5th stream then, isn't it? So we managed to get 5 streams this week, so one of them being today, which is great. So don't forget to hit that like button. We're hoping we get to see the P-47 and the P-51 depart. They could be taken off further down the runway, sadly, but we'll see. I should be able to get a good shot of them anyway, but we'll see. Maybe they I did. Rich Taylor, thank you very much. I hope you had a good time in Scotland. Yes, I did, thank you. Very good.
We'll go down the track.
Sky Raptors, how did you and Ted meet? That's do you know what? That's a really good question, and one of the things that is coming up in the future, something big is happening to the channel. But I will answer that. It was Carl Leon's. Thank you for the stream. You're welcome. It was it's quite funny because it was during COVID. I wanted to cheer the planet up, so I anonymously filled an entire bridge with teddy bears in Peterborough during COVID, just to put a little smile on people's faces. Now in 2019, in December 2019, while sort of COVID was sort of looming and getting closer to the country, Claire Bear's daughter won Ted in a raffle. I know, how lucky is that? And in the bears of the teddy bears, so it was March 2020, in the bags and bags of teddy bears that were destined to go on the bridge, oh behold, Ted was in there. I've actually got a video of Ted falling out the bag. We managed to see him. I feel really bad, but Ted forgives me, because look at the life he's got now. Keith Smith, how do you keep your energy up, Nikos? It's just the way I am, always been like that. Wiggles Way, 5 streams and a lot of miles covered this week. A brilliant effort from the TCS. Thank you very much. Only 50 likes to 1,000. That's amazing. Thank you all so much. Joshua Brown, who's put great stream today. Thank you very much. If you've got any questions, go for it. We've got about an hour to spare, so we could do a quick Q&A. Jen Mac, Teddy Bear Bridge. Yes, although unfortunately they have all gone. I think, yeah, I mean, people were adding to that bridge. It was kind of cool. It was on the radio and the local newspaper, but obviously I was like, that was me. But anyway. Ange Baker, thank you. Yeah, basically I saw Ted, and I was like, he ain't going on that bridge. I didn't want Ted to go on that bridge. So Ted, for a short period of time, became a little mascot in my car. You know when people put teddy bears in their cars, Ted was a little like travelling mascot, and it's funny because you know, the rules started to change with COVID, because I was a wedding photographer, and you know, people were allowed to have weddings, but you could only have 30 people. You had to do all these social distancing and all that. And I was driving to Woodhall Spa, at Petwood to be exact, for a gig there, wedding photography. And as I was driving along, the lights came on at Coningsby. I wasn't even familiar that much with Coningsby of what it was all about. I mean, I thought they were Mirage 2000, and I thought the Red Arrows just turn up in their red planes and start flying around whenever they felt like it. That's how unknowledgeable about this sort of thing. You know, I took a subject I knew nothing about. Anyway, the lights came on to warn you had to stop, because there were aircraft coming in to land or take off ultimately. But I did one better. I was going to stop, but I pulled up on the lay-by just before the lights. I thought, I'm going to park up and do a little video with Ted. And I literally did this. It was a typhoon, and I literally did a video of Ted looking at the camera. It was like a selfie video of Ted looking at the typhoon. Put it on social media and everyone loved it. And then I discovered there's such thing, what's called a typhoon display pilot. I decided to go to Coningsby. In fact, it was Reedham Lane, and it was Flight Lieutenant James Sainty who was doing a practice display. And I decided to do a video of Ted like this, throughout the whole display. So it would have been a tiny little triangle and just Ted just watching the display. I posted that on social media, and that very evening I had a reply from the man himself, Flight Lieutenant James Sainty, who said, when could Ted get his medical by? And you'll never guess what happened. Now, our beloved Blackjack was revealed on the 21st of May 2021. Guess who flew on the maiden flight? No, it wasn't just Sainty. It was Sainty and Ted. Ted flew in the maiden flight, which makes Blackjack very special to us. David Smart, oi oi Nikos, which was your first air show you attended? I was born in Weston-super-Mare, so I naturally, that was home to the Western Air Festival, and that was my first air show, being born into the air show. Daniel Walker, which stream base has surprised you the most whilst being there? Also, interesting question, that. Which stream base surprised you the most? Very good question. Okay. Like, take. It's gonna have to be Whole Beach Tahoe flight dropping GBU 12s. That was unbelievable. Gary Lockton, if money was no object, where would you most like to go film a stream? Anywhere in the world? Hawaii, F-22s. I'd love to go there, or Alaska. Love to go there. I'd love to go there. In fact, there's a reason why I also want to go to Alaska as well. There's a... Is it a B-17 or a B-24 Liberator like crashed site that I want to check out while I'm there as well. Because I'd love to remember those that made that ultimate sacrifice. I'd love to check that out. Avro Al, Nikos, what has been your favourite or most memorable stream to date? Avro Al, I think the success of RAF Cosford Air Show was probably one I won't forget. There are so many though to mention, there are loads to mention. That one stands out as probably one of the most successful streams the Ted Coningsby channel's ever experienced, I believe, for me, and it was nice because it worked out. The weather was awful, and we were allowed to, we had the rights to do it there, and it's been a game changer. This whole channel, the way it's progressing. Bull T850, have you ever seen the Blue Angels? No, I haven't. Would love to do that again. How old is Ted? Well, we discovered Ted in 2019, but of course the channel wasn't even existing then. Sky Raptors, this is a good question. What jet have you not yet seen and is on your bucket list to see? Good question, very good question. I like that question. I would love to see the F-117s because I have seen them on the Sega Mega Drive Jungle Strike, and I really like that aircraft, so I'd love to see a Nighthawk. Terry, Nikos, can you remember which stream has been the most emotional? Well, there are two. The ones that have ended our stream, which will be Lossiemouth and Whole Beach. They were complete stream deaths. I had to cut it. It was so bad. The storm at Whole Beach was ridiculous. So yeah, we're doing a Q&A while we're waiting for the departures of the Warbirds. So feel free to ask your questions and I'll do my best to answer them. And again, thank you very much everyone for joining us. Don't forget to hit the like button and do subscribe to your one and only Ted Coningsby channel, where 100k is looking quite realistic. Aviation Geek FGR4. Ooh. What plane would you most like to experience a flight in? Oh, I mean, there's a lot, isn't there? You've put what plane, so you haven't put what jet. Oh, if it's going to be a jet, I'd say Typhoon. It's going to have to be Typhoon, although, yeah, maybe a Typhoon or an F-15E Strike Eagle. I'd go with that. But if I was going to pick a plane, and not go into jet. I would love to fly in a B-17. Rich Taylor's remembering, who's put the first stream I saw on the Ted Coningsby channel was PA474 doing the Dam Busters tour around the sun, the UK. The sun was setting and she flew back to Coningsby with the sun setting behind her. Yeah, oh, was it the 80th Dam Buster raid anniversary? Sean Taplin, what's your favourite plane of all time? It's going to have to be the Typhoon because of the sort of like how this channel began. So it will have to be the Typhoon. If it wasn't for the Typhoon, you know, with other factors, Lancaster will be a good one. Tresby, how you doing, my man? The Plane Spotter, that it's on my list very soon. Who's asked about Holbeach? The weather, right? So, if you remember last year, we were at Holbeach quite a lot, and the weather this year's just been appalling. It is absolutely hit and miss, but we will be at Holbeach soon. No, we don't have a motorhome. No. Just go check in back at TED HQ. 1,000 likes. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you so much. Rich Taylor, Ted's had a flight in PA474 and Sally B. He's done both. You can check out Ted's flying log on our website. In fact, Ted's had 4 flights in Sally B in the B-17. Oh yeah. When we are going to Duxford, but we're going on the 5th of October. We won't be streaming at Duxford because I haven't heard back from them, because I've asked in writing, but they haven't got back to me, sadly. So I'll just bring a camera and just film for you. Thank you very much, everyone. Davey, Ted's flight log, thank you very much for that. You can have a look at Ted. There's one more flight I need to add. I know Ted's got another flight I need to add to that Sage flight with the F-35, who Ted flew another flight with the 495th Fighter Squadron, the Valkyries. By the way, what I forgot to mention in the history, the 9th Reconnaissance Squadron during 1941, when in 1943, when the 9th Reconnaissance Squadron changed to the 495th, as we know today. If you look at the 495th, the Valkyries today, they have 9 stars, and I believe those 9 stars represent the 9th Reconnaissance Squadron. I've been chasing the history, tracking the history down for the 9th Reconnaissance Squadron when they transitioned into the 495th. I can't guarantee they were the Flying Tigers, because there was a reconnaissance squadron, the 9th Reconnaissance, but I'm trying to match if it's 100% the Flying Tigers or a Flying Cat even. It's basically a cat on some sort of aircraft with a camera as reconnaissance. Nikos, what is the best the channel has given you today? What is the best experience the channel's given you today? Just a successful and happy community that we've got. It has brought this community, the people we've met along the way, the airmen we've met, the fantastic. That is the best experience I can tell you, and it's everything that comes with the channel. That for me is the best experience. Oi, how you doing? You all right, man? How you doing? Give me 1 second. Give me one. Bless you. Be right back. I'll just point the camera over there. How are you? All right? Yeah, good, man. All good. What's been going on this finest of rare sunny days? Oh, bless you.
Have I brought that to you yet?
No. What is this?
So that's our first batch. I gave you one a while back.
Yes.
Yeah, that one is the
Oh, wow. The medical group, man. Yes. That's awesome. Wow. Oh, this is me.
Alright.
Oh, thank you very much, man. Oh, Wow, he's incredible.
You're off the base because you're already there.
Look at these. This one.
Oh, great.
That is amazing.
There it was.
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much. That's awesome, man. Thank you. Oh no, yeah. Yeah, no, there's a reason for it. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, they should be going out. Yeah, sure. Oh, that's really cool. Thank you so much. Is it day off for you today? Fine. Yeah. Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. Every flight today.
There was an arrival of some more birds, and hopefully we'll see them go out, but we're not 100% of the time, as you probably know the nature of it. There's no F-15s or F-35s.
No, isn't there?
No, not at all.
That's what I seen last time. I've been during the week.
Yeah.
We're going to touch with airshows.
Oh, well,
right,
well,
yeah.
if you don't see anything there, then there's something wrong. See ya, thank
Yes,
you.
yes.
Oh, bless you, thank you so much. That is amazing. Yeah, that's so good. Oh, bless you. Yeah, I'm gonna, yeah, because obviously I'll talk about every role that you guys do. So, what do you do? Literally, so like make sure everyone's healthy. Is that what? Yeah. So you do their sort of like medical sort of side of things, to make sure they're okay to fly again. Yeah. That's a really important role. Because I mentioned the chefs, because I know they've got to feed people, right? If they're late, then no one gets fed and no one can get going. If they haven't fed you, then how are you going to do this? So I get it. Yeah, it's really cool.
Works together.
Yeah.
There's a lot of moving pieces. Everybody out here is just the jet.
That's right.
There's hundreds of different modes that have to do their job.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Enjoy. Yeah. Yeah, hopefully I'll be here Friday. Yes. Friday for a good old quick line Friday. It's hopefully the weather's
Hopefully it will be 05.
yes.
Now I think it's officially changed to 0523. They'll be using it.
Yeah, I heard 2-3 now on the radio. So maybe they but the numbers are still yeah. Thanks, Rob. This is Claire. There you go, we're regulars. So. Yeah, it was funny when I rang earlier this morning around the desk. And they were like, Saturday? I'm like, yeah, it's fine. Just in case they thought, what is he doing here? Yeah. Oh, cool. Thanks, man. Thank you, Rob. Thank you. Oh, man. So, you may have heard there you go, the importance of keeping everyone fit and healthy. It all plays a major part, massive piece to, you know, one unit. And it was very well said, you know, we come in and see the final element, but of course, naturally, it's a whole big piece. And that's kind of like, that is true to the point. You know, when we go Coningsby, we go low flying, and you know, we see the end product, you know, and that's a very, very good point. Really, really good point. You know, you don't often think about the medical side. You don't often think about the chef and all the other aspects that go onto it. You know, and you may have heard that the pilots need to be fit and healthy, and you know, without a medical team and lab group, the bloods, how are you going to know that this pilot is safe to fly? You need to make sure that they are in tip-top. You've got a tip-top aircraft. So you've got the maintenance crew who do all the the laboratory side, shall we speak. They do all the little blood tests of the aircraft, so to speak, you know, to check that aircraft is healthy. But then you've got oh yeah, got another visit, I think. I better turn that around. Got another visit. I'll just move that over there. Oh yeah. Oi oi.
Morning.
How you doing?
All right, you?
Yeah, good.
Good. What's going on today?
I thought you might ask. Hang on, let me just turn that over there a minute. There's a couple of warbirds here. Yeah, P-47 and a P-51. P-47 and a P-51 then. Not that I know, but they're trying that at some point. You know it is. Yeah, it's nice to see some warbirds. Yeah, so a P-47 and a P-51 Mustang.
Alright, okay.
And what's nice about the P-41, it's got the markings of the 492nd were based here back in 1944.
Alright, okay.
So it's kind of nice. So they landed,
Yeah.
they did a nice break into land and then...
Alright, fair enough.
Yeah, it's lovely to see him, it's nice.
Yeah, I was saying, we'll drive. There's lots of big weird today on Saturday.
They'll be out with him, they'll be back, they'll be going to Duxford very shortly, so then that's it.
We'll go nuts with it.
We just got back to Lossy now.
Yeah.
It's like 10 hours. Yeah, so I think we'll take the rest of the day off after that.
Alright.
But yeah, no, they should be going around. They're not that big. But yeah, they were a major aircraft in the Second World War.
Yeah.
Artist-assisted flying.
Yeah.
It's cool that it's got the markings of just what it was based in. They're taken off that way. They're taken off that way. And yeah, they're taken off that way. And currently they're on the south side of the base at the minute. They've come from there. I don't know.
We're going to have a drive around, see what
Yeah.
Let's go and find them. Alright, well, enjoy your day.
Yeah, thank you. Take care, lads. Thanks.
Thank you.
Red Ted's had a go round there. Yeah, Red Ted's been in. How are we doing? Woo! Yeah, it's all good. So I'll show you with the our swag. Thank you. Check this out, man. Oh, look at this. Oh, isn't that cool? Glow in the dark. That is absolutely awesome. And then you got this one doesn't glow in the dark. That's cool. And this is cool, man. That's right. And our good friend, so that was Rob. Our good friend Tommy Sullivan. Do you remember Tommy? He was the he's gone back to the US now. A good friend of ours, and he gave me a patch from the medical, and I really love the slogan. We do all the bloody work. I love that. I do. I love that. I think that's funny. Good old VC10 as well. Look at this. Thanks, Ryan. Your VC10 has made it again onto the show. There we go. So yeah, we'll go back to the Q&A, and it's all good. All in good time. So we'll carry on with myself and Ted's Q&A while we wait. I'd say another hour, and they should be, looking at the times for Duxford, I'd say they should be heading over there in the next hour or so. So we haven't got long to go, but thank you very much everyone for getting us to 1,000 likes as well. Yeah, man. What's your favourite V-bomber, and which, if you could, which would you fly in? Oh, Vulcan. Yeah, I'd love to go in the Vulcan. And I remember, I'll never forget it. I'll never forget seeing the Vulcan bomber at the Western Air Festival as it did a wing over handbrake turn. I know it's not a real thing, but oh, it's my mate right there. Can you see it? Oh, he's gone down, the little wagtail. Chris Bloxham. Oh, I don't want to spoil it, but yes. So, one of the benefits of coming to the TED, right? I'll tell you what, for those that are tuned in, you got a little something cool, but without revealing all of it. There will be new season merchandise. We're having a revamp with all the merchandise. There'll be some new stuff. Oh yeah. And for those coming to the TED Party 2.0, you'll be able to get your hands on them first. So just to let you know, they'll be available on the 1st of... Are we going to go with the 1st of December? Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah, I'm going to do that. Wolfman, how you doing? Hope you're good. Oh, I missed this one. Sky Raptors, did you plane spot before the channel was born? No. No. So my background with anything aviation was literally from 0 to 10, whatever memories I could remember, was the Western Air Festival. We moved briefly to Portland, so it was the Sea Harrier and HMS, was it Osprey for Portland? There was Sea Harriers there. Yeah, so there was that, and then that was it really. I loved aviation, but as you know, when you're a kid, when parents move, you got no say in the matter. So we went to areas where there was no flying really. I mean, Brighton, I mean, wow, never mind. Yeah, I went to Brighton for a little bit, and then yeah, and then things change, and then you kind of like lose track. I mean, my favourite jet when I was a kid was the Tornado. And when is the TED? It's sold out. The TED Party currently. And yeah, unfortunately it's sold out at the moment, in case there's any cancellations. If there's any spare tickets, I'll be releasing them. Thank you very much, Sean Warner. Thank you. Bruggen. Thank you. That's how you pronounce it. Cool, thank you. Oh, Andrew C. Right, it's funny you mentioned that. Have you the videos of Ted and Sally B, and have I missed it? They will be, it will be, it's funny you mentioned that. I'm actually working on that tonight, because I've now got the photos by Steve Carter to add to them. So it potentially at this stage, it could be a members only one at this stage due to the nature of the photos, but let me just see what I can do. James, I was at Bruggen with ATC. Daniel Walker, which single display you've seen has amazed you? Good question. I'd say the F-15 QA was absolutely stunning. I thought that was spectacular. It wasn't really, I mean, let's face it, I don't think it's actually classed as a display. It's more of a roll demo. But even that actually just wowed me. The Starlings were amazing, and the Titans display team were pretty cool as well. Yeah, Cosford's a great day out. Aaron R, other than Riyadh, what is your favourite air show to go to? Oh, other than Riyadh, Cosford. I love Cosford. Loved Bournemouth as well. In fact, I love them all. East Kirkby as well. Oh, gotta love East Kirkby. I love the vibe. Sometimes it's the vibe that goes with it. Yep, definitely. Wolfman, how you doing? Did you enjoy getting away from Lakenheath this week, says Owen? Did I enjoy it? No, I missed it, I'll be honest with you. I do miss Lakenheath, but then that's a good thing, because if you were to do this every day, you'd lose, you know, although bases provide as a spectator something different every day, you will lose a bit of that wow. Trust me, you will. If you kept doing the same thing all the time, this is why it's important to mix it up. Sky Raptors, has your hearing suffered from all the jet blasts? At the moment, no, but ask me that in a few years' time. Marco, yeah, it's only these two, and we'll be seeing them depart hopefully in the next hour. How you doing? Trespar, Daniel Walker, Claire Bear, Meth, Marco, James. How you all doing? Thanks a lot. Liam Ward, thank you for all your all of you for tuning in as well today. It's something a little bit different. And remembering aircraft that once served the same purpose as they do today. You've got to remember how important that is. You know, you've got to remember how important these two aircraft are that we've seen. You know, they played that similar role that they do today. That's one thing you've got to remember. Every single person I mention, you know, every single squadron that I mention, you know, in the past, in 50 years time, 40 years time, 30 years time, same applies. The very dates that I give, hopefully I'll be doing this in 30 years time, you never know, but what I'm saying is that the dates of the squadrons that I read out, the airmen that we just heard just then, the two guys just there as well, they are part of that history. They are part of today, and they'll become a history for the next history talk. That, you know, when we say about Lakenheath in 1948, the 2nd Bombardment Group, there were men serving there, and they you know, just like the airman today, this airman was part of a particular unit, and that's why it's important to remember them. That's why it's important to remember all the history. Gary Lockton, most memorable fly past, not display. Ooh, most memorable fly past. I think for me it would be the Chinook from doing a fly past just for me over Holbeach. It actually took me off. I'm going to go with that because that was it was reported back that was for me, and I could tell that went straight over. The Chinook could have just took off and headed north for Coningsby, but no, it decided to aim for me, which was great. I'll never forget that one. AD Corsa, what's your favourite aircraft movie? Oh, that's a good one. It's got to be Top Gun, isn't it? It's got to be Top Gun. You got to love it. Original or the second one? Ooh, I'm going to go with the second one. I like Maverick. I thought that was brilliant. I'll tell you what, the other one, what's the other one with, oh, do you know what? Give me one sec, I forgot what it's called. There was another, I really like this one as well. It was, Just checking what it's called, hang on. Devotion, that's a good film. Like Devotion, that's good. Glenn Powell. Just stumbled across Glenn Powell's The Blue Angels documentary. Oh, I didn't know he's doing documentary, because he's cool. I like Hangman in that. I think he's well awesome. So Ted's got his own, you know about the pocket chair as well. So we got, I think it was Jan that got us this, wasn't it? Jan's got us a pocket chair for Ted. Look at this, an actual pocket chair. It's a bit windy though, Ted. You're going to be all right. There we go, Ted in the pocket chair. Look, oh, tell you what, it's a bit windy up here actually. So maybe Ted will end up taking off. It's one thing with his beret. So yeah, hopefully they don't go too far. Take off. 5 Fox. There's lots of cool stuff on here actually. Catch 22, Iron Eagle. Lovely, right. have a little look around. Just gonna have a quick cup of tea before I get back into it. Just bear with me a moment. Big shout out to Rob. Big shout out to the 48th Medical. Thank you very much. Who make sure that the pilots are in tip-top condition, which I think is absolutely important and crucial. So thank you very much for what you do. Good video of them there. phone her in a minute.
Oh yeah, she'll like that.
On the way back, I'll give her a call.
Yeah.
doing, ladies and teddy bears? So we're just awaiting lots of lovely comments here and lots of ideas. So we have had, if you just tuned in, we have had the arrival of the P-47 Thunderbolt and the P-51, the Mustang. So we're just waiting for them both to depart, hopefully very soon. And lots of lovely ideas from all of you, like David Robinson. Will you be doing like your top 10, that kind of thing? Yeah, well, I'll see if I can get time. You may have noticed the Lost Airfields have kind of taken a bit of a halt at the moment. As the channel's got bigger and bigger, I've realised that the little side projects have, you know, the channel's, just face it, it's just been growing massively, and it's all down to your support as well, and the encouragement from everyone has been amazing, and the support and love that we have and respect from the bases themselves and the airmen is just phenomenal. So just a quick one, ladies and teddy bears, which I'm going to add in my new history script for the future. I've still yet to work on it, by the way, just although many of you enjoyed the one I had today. When I talked to you about the 48th Fighter Group arriving at RAF Ibsley, it was on the 16th of October 1943 that RAF Ibsley was allocated to the 9th Air Force. Now, with construction completed on the 29th of March 1944, the 9th Air Force of the 48th Fighter Group, they arrived at Ibsley from Waterborough Army Airfield, and that was South Carolina. Now, the 48th flew, of course, the aircraft are about to see very shortly, the Republic P-47 Thunderbolt, and the three squadrons that made it was the 492nd Fighter Squadron. Now look out for the markings, okay? So we're looking for F4. Now I never really got into too much of the markings for our 48th during World War II. It's usually about the Royal Air Force's squadron markings that I'm very familiar with. Of course, the United States Army Air Force had different markings again. So F4, that's Foxtrot 4, that was the identifier for the 492nd Fighter Squadron. The 493rd Fighter Squadron, the Grim Reapers, they had a 1 and a 7. All right. The 494th Fighter Squadron, they had the number 6 and the letter M for Mike. Or in fact, the 493rd actually will make that a I7. I think that's right. The 48th was a group at that time of the 9th Air Force, and it was part of the 70th Fighter Wing and the 9th Tactical Air Command. Now, Ibbsley continued to be used by the 48th Fighter Group until the 4th of July, when the last personnel left. If you look at the history of RAF Ibbsley, it was very, very, you had many squadrons there, many fighter squadrons there. But of course, in the end, the 48th spent a lot of time in France. So another airfield that I do need to add from my history script, don't forget, it was the squadrons after so I'm just gonna probably get my radio. It was Du Jamou, I think that's how I pronounce it, Du Jamou Airfield, A4 France. And that started to provide more support to the United States First Army. I'm just going to get my radio and just see if we're going to get any taxiing very shortly. Hopefully they come further down, but we'll see. Too long now.
You're probably having breakfast or something.
Salmon!
Salmon burgers.
Yes. Oh, that sounds good actually. Hello.
Salmon, scrambled egg.
That's what I had in Scotland.
I had scrambled egg.
I knew you'd have salmon.
Salmon,
Yeah,
I
it was
had
lovely.
scrambled egg, because I don't like salmon. Ted didn't hear me say that.
No, Ted says that's fine because that's more for him.
Scrambled egg on toast if I'm having eggs.
Oh yeah, that's good.
That sounds good. That sounds like. Do you know what I haven't had for a long time? An omelette.
Oh, omelette.
On the breakfast
We're
menu.
talking about food, that's
Omelette,
brilliant.
That sounds good.
Oh yeah.
Me neither. Shut that. We're going down that way.
You are okay. Cool.
I've got my phone.
You have. Oh, that's good. Okay, so hopefully very shortly we should be seeing our departures for the day. Come on.
Two pairs of sunglasses in here.
See you in a bit, have fun. Hopefully they you catch them nicely. Take care. How we doing, ladies, gents, steady bear? So it won't be too long now. Just gonna. Oh, it's so strange not hearing any F-35s and F-15E Strike Eagles while here, but hey, how cool is that though, to catch a P-47 and a P-51 here at Raf Lakenheath. I'm loving the history of the base, as you know. Lots of you mentioning some cool things on there. Don't worry, I haven't ignored them. I'm just thinking, I don't want to spoil too much of some of your questions and ideas. What is that? Cool. It's a little bit windy today. It was alright this morning. Thanks everyone that's tuned in today. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Actually, we're nearly at 70.2k as well, which is pretty cool. Yeah, thank you so much everyone that's tuned in today. Looking forward to seeing these depart. Thought I'd give you a nice chilled out stream. It's been great. So 2 days Lossy Mouth, 2 days at the Lake District, and Lakenheath on a Saturday with some warbirds. How awesome is that? Wee Stevie boy, Thank you very much for the super Guards March. And Cox, thank you as well, who's put for Ted Salmon and tea for Nikos and Claire. Oi oi, good to see you, and thank you for today's history lesson. Loving it. Oh, bless you. Thank you very much, Guards March. AD Corza as well, thank you for the super Guards March. And Keith Smith, high five, Guards March. Thank you so much for gifting 5 Ted Coningsby memberships. Thank you. Jason Elza, member for 1 month. Been a great month. Looking forward to many, many more. Thank you for all you do. And thank you, Jason, for becoming part of our Ted Coningsby's Fighter Squadron member as well. Thank you so much. Bull T850 or Bullet 850, member for 2 months. My dad said the talk of the 51 was incredible. Wow. I bet it was. Jane Jeffrey, high five. Thank you for joining the Ted Coningsby's Posh Officers. Mrs. Davey, member for 14 months. Brilliant 14 months with the TCS. Thank you to everyone for your support for us at this difficult time with the heart. Thank you very much, Mrs. Davey. Hope you're well, hope you're good. And regards to yourself, family, and of course, Davey himself. Wright with an E, member for 5 months. Thanks a lot, Wright. Guards March, thank you very much for your 5-month service. We've also got Andrew Porter as well, 1,000 likes. Oh yeah, thanks a lot, Andrew, for the super. And White Wizard as well, gifting a Ted Coningsby membership. High five, Guards March. And he's off. How you doing, ladies and steady bears? Hope we're all good. And just awaiting for our warbirds that arrived earlier for departure. Meth, how you doing? Yeah, the P-47, the Jug, because it was believed to be shaped like a old milk jug back in the time. That's where it got its name from. And this particular P-47D that we're about to see as the markings F4, which was the markings for the 492nd Fighter Squadron, the Mad Hatters. And this one has the identifier J for Juliet. And the squadron markings of the 492nd are very distinctive, with the red checkerboard nose and the red nose band and rudder that's painted in the bright red as well. Again, really helpful to identify friend from foe as well. The squadron today, as many of you know, fly the F-15E Strike Eagle here at RAF Lakenheath. And for those that are new, yes, it does have the title Royal Air Force at Lakenheath, but it is in fact operated by the United States Air Forces in Europe, and that's home of the 48th Fighter Wing, the flying component, the 48th Operations Group, with their 4 flying squadrons, the 492nd, 493rd, 494th, and the 495th. All fighter squadrons, of course, but of course the wing is more than just about the flying. We've got the 48th Medical Lab and PAF group. 48th Medical, thank you very much for all you do. Communications as well, all the communication squadrons. Rapcon, how you all doing? Don't forget, Lakenheath manage both Mildenhall, that's Tower, Lakenheath Towers, Rapcon, that's radar approach control. They manage both Mildenhall because it's a 24-hour base, and Lakenheath as well. Fair play to the communication squadron and all those involved in ATC. Also the 48th maintenance squadrons, and also the fighter generation squadrons. This was put in place in 2021. The arrival of the F-35s really did change a lot of things, and the way things are run maintenance side. When we come here again, you'll notice the ground crew team of the F-15s do all the work just before takeoff, post taxiing. You'll notice that, and a lot of people aren't used to that, and it's just the way they operate things. But when the arrival came of the F-35s, this changed a lot of perception, and it was reorganized and categorized, and it was a restructure with the way the maintenance squadrons were seen to was constructed. So for example, it was one maintenance squadron, like the 748th, I think it was, the maintenance squadrons, because it was all Eagles. They had F-15E and F-15C and D model Eagles as well. So it was just Strike Eagles and Eagles at that time, so it was a bit easier to manage, I guess. But when the arrival of the F-35s came, things did actually change, and it was reconstructed. What they decided to do was to have fighter generation squadrons. That's why when you see FGS, that's your maintenance squadrons, which was put in place since the arrival of the F-35. So what they're doing now, they have a squadron, a maintenance squadron dedicated to their own squadron. So it's your squadron, your jets, your safety. So it was a restructuring. So if it works, it works. If it's if an efficient team, keep it that way. So they decided to do it that way since the arrival of the F-35As. Right, can't be too long now until we see some sort of movement. So let's get our movement whiskers on. Here we go. Now, the only thing I can tell you, sadly, I don't think they're going to taxi all the way down to us. It would be nice in an ideal world, but I think where we've seen, I think about where the number 8 is, I think it'll be further down, but hey, we'll take what we can get. Yeah, so many of you commenting about the RAF's Thunderbolts. They did, the Royal Air Force did use them quite late into operational service in 1944. I think they were used against the Japanese in Southeast Asia Command, I believe. And I think they did a lot of fighter escorting roles as well, escorting roles with the RAF's B-24 Liberators as well. A lot of escort missions, and it was by the end of 1945 the Royal Air Force's P-47 squadrons were re-equipping with the Hawker Tempest. It was quite brief and quite late, but some units were sent to Batavia in an attempt to reintroduce Dutch colonial rule, but they did undertake a number of bombing missions against the Indonesian airfields. Jimmy Pass, how you doing? Good morning to you, hope you're well. You've enjoyed this surprise stream today, Ted's mystery stream, and we're just awaiting the departure of the Thunderbolt, the P-47 and the P-51. What's going on down there? Hang on. Maybe just on standby. Won't be too long now, ladies, gents, teddy bears. Welcome to the Ted Coningsby channel. We're live here at Raf Lakenheath for a little mystery stream. We've had managed to catch wonderfully the arrival of the P-47 Thunderbolt and the P-51, and we're just hoping the departures very soon as well. Ted Coningsby channel live here at Lakenheath, and like I said, we're just awaiting the departure for the P-47 Thunderbolt and the P-51. Oh yeah, both gorgeous warbirds playing very similar roles, but very different aircraft, with very different engines as well, to the fact that you've got the one been liquid cooled and one been air cooled or radio cooled engine, which made it a lot more robust with combat battle damage being air cooled. But again, there are disadvantages and advantages for either having or both of those. But with the P-47's air cooled engine, made it a bit more robust, and again, the chances of survival through battle damage. Lots of history with the P-47. It feels like a Friday today because I'm here. So it sounds like they are now using runway 05 and 23. With the runways being changed, there will be a special runway video that I'm making currently. I'm actually building a runway, not to that scale, not to a real. I'm going to make it in the Ted Coningsby style that you all love. So hopefully you'll enjoy that very soon when I get a chance to do that. So watch this space. So tuning into this chilled out mystery stream, and we find ourselves here at Raf Lakenheath. There's the catwalk over there that we so much love, watching the F-15E and the F-35 strut their stuff down the runway there. Now the taxiway, sorry, yeah, it is called a taxiway officially, but we call it the catwalk because it looks good. Okay, hopefully it won't be too long till we see the departures. Come on. Could be any time, could be now, could be later, but we're here. we wait, ladies and teddy bears, just going to post a quick TED advert for those that are interested in joining our squadron. So enjoy. Oh yeah, ladies, sheds and teddy bears, welcome to the Ted Coningsby channel membership. I'm Nikos, I'm your cameraman and commentator. This is our squadron leader, Ted Coningsby. Just want to say a massive thank you to all our members. Guns up, and oh yeah. Take it away, Ted. Ladies, sheds and teddy bears, we want to say a massive thank you to all of our subscribers for getting us to where we are today. We have gone all over the country, from as far as Lossiemouth to Bryce Norton, and military areas such as air weapons ranges, low flying areas, heritage centres and special flights for TED 2. We cannot do this without your support, and your support will be rewarded. You can now join the Ted Coningsby Squadron and help fund the channel to get us around the country and provide us with the funds for equipment to bring you better content too. We have 3 exciting membership levels with awesome YouTube perks to reward you back for your support. Our first level of membership is the Ted Coningsby Squadron. You'll get a loyalty badge on YouTube, unique TCS emojis that you can use on comments and live streams, members only videos which include behind the scenes, deleted scenes, sneak previews and also music videos that Ted likes to play the electric guitar on. You'll also get access to members only Discord server and discount on all of our Ted Coningsby merchandise. All of this for just $1.99 a month. Oh yeah. Our second level of membership is the Posh Officers Club. This includes all of the squadron perks, private Posh Officers Discord chat room, Posh Officers discounts on all of our Ted Coningsby merchandise, and the poshness of supporting the TCS even more. This is just £4.99 a month. Our third level was inspired by many of our fans who have been supporting the channel massively. So we'd love to reward you back with this, and our third level of membership is the Ted Coningsby Fighter Squadron. This gives you a more personal experience with me and Ted, with exclusive live streams and content. You'll get a free Ted Coningsby Fighter Squadron patch, a private Ted Coningsby Fighter Squadron Discord chat room, a gold colour Discord username, and a higher discount on all of our Ted Coningsby merchandise. All this for just $25.99 a month. Ladies, gents and teddy bears, the Ted Coningsby channel cannot thank you enough for all your support, and it's this support that keeps the dream, keeps the stream. Thank you so much. Oh yeah. So yeah, just heard on the 80s that the runway numbers have changed to 0523 finally. So I've just quickly changed them while I rolled that advert out there. Hope you're all good, ladies, gents, teddy bears, and feeling good. And we're just like I said, we're just waiting for 2 departures, P-47 and P-51. Hope you're all good. What's everyone doing this weekend? Anyone up to anything exciting this weekend? Let us know. Anyone going to Duxford or any air shows? We're taking the after today, that'll be it for the Ted Coningsby channel. We may be back on Tuesday. I'll let you know in the no Teds. Ted Coningsby channel. How we doing, ladies, gents, and teddy bears? Hope we're all good. Lakenheath Tower there that manage both RAF Lakenheath and Mildenhall. It's what you call RAPCON. Basically managing the safety of the airspace for both airfields. So RAPCON, you may hear that, that's radar approach control. Basically, these the airmen here in that 15-degree angle, tinted glass to stop the glare. They're responsible for keeping the safety of the airspace and avoiding any aircraft from heading towards each other. Called the Radar Approach Control Center. Now this is always manned 24 hours a day, so that's 7 days a week, and they are responsible for the airspace. They stretching approximately about 40 miles in each direction of the base, ranging from surface up to 19,500 feet. Now the airmen coordinate with different control agencies in the UK and other countries as well to execute flight plans for RAF Lakenheath and Mildenhall as well, due to Mildenhall being a 24-hour base and of course with them being close together. And it always made perfect sense when I read the history with the bases being so close together that they had different runways. Can you imagine if they had the same runway numbers? Also plans routes for transmitting aircraft to and from deployed locations. Now to make sure that the pilots stay safe, the 48th Operations Support Squadron RAPCON Air Traffic Controller give the pilots the traffic on what is in the air, the details on the weather, and make sure that they get to where they need to go safely. And upon arrival to a new base, experienced RAPCON airmen go through a 3 to 4 month training period to learn the new airspace. So if you're new to the base, you will get to learn about what's around you, and also interesting is to know what aircraft that are actually at the base, also altitudes that they own, the runway configurations of course, and like I said, it's really important to know what aircraft that you have here at your own base that you're going to manage, also their performance characteristics as well, with that in mind. So it brings previously experienced controllers back to basics. Almost like a refresh. I'll just wait for these nice sounding engines to Sure, it sounds like we've got a the airmen in the tower, they do stay sharp. One second. Of course, with the nature of their job role, and they need to stay sharp, so they do have proficiency tests as well. Because let's face it, they have responsibilities of what they do. So RAPCON airmen take monthly proficiency tests and continue on the job training, such as working with radar simulators as well, to keep them tip top and on top of their game. They sequence departures and arrivals simultaneously out of Mildenhall and Lakenheath, and the 48th OSS, sorry, the 48th OSS supervisor. They sequence and coordinate flight plans and intentions of arrivals and departures flying in the region, for both using the US and UK standards as well. So obviously conversion will need to be remembered too. And they sequence this together, and depending on the operational needs of the airbase's flight line, air traffic controllers can either work at air traffic control tower or in the radar approach control center. Two positions work cohesively to ensure smooth and safe flying operations. The nice thing that I read while watching a video, that they said that it's always nice, and you always know that you're home when you hear that American accent, said a pilot assigned to the 492nd Fighter Squadron. I think that was absolutely beautiful. I loved that. That was a really nice little touch. They've also got someone in there making the calls. They've got arrivals. When you see films, you know, like, or even documentaries, when they're sliding these little titles through this little board, you know, with the title of certain call signs and stuff like that. It really is very much like that. I had a little look at the RAPCON video. It was really, really cool. So nothing at the moment, unfortunately. No departures just yet. We don't have any times or anything like that. So hopefully we're going to get the departure soon. I don't have any departure details, unfortunately, but I do know they're heading for Duxford at some point today, so it will be today. I hope so. It's been a long day now. I'll be right back. I'm just going to have a cat. See you there now.
Observation. Wind 210 at 10. Visibility 100. Sapphire 103, stay altitude, you're maneuvering now. On 1029. 551, you got traffic 3 miles south of your position. Slow moving out to indicate 1,500 feet. Alright, 1 radar service terminated for change crew. See you on the way back. Delta 20 will be cold all day today. Delta 103, are you approximately 3 miles north of Huntington, southwestbound? Delta 103, roger, radar contact.
Going out very shortly, I think. It's got to be now. Come on. And let her know that it's no details just yet of the departures. There's been nothing on the comms, so they are due to go out at some point today. Hopefully it's anytime soon. You're watching the Ted Coningsby channel live here at Raf Lakenheath. Well, we've had an arrival of 2 warbirds this morning, and we're just waiting patiently for the departure.
Contact lost. much possible, can we have an early release to contact you? No traffic effect at this time. Radar source terminated. Squad member request frequency changes today.
Thanks for being patient with us, ladies, gents, and teddy bears. Oh, here we go. Is that? Hang on. Here we. Is that them there? Oh no, I better let Claire Bear know the minute I said. Okay, here we go. I can see them now. Beautiful. Okay, so just when I was going to tell the Cloud Bear to, here we go. Look at this. These are in the markings. I'm not too sure about the P-51, but the P-47 has got the markings of the 492nd Fighter Squadron during the World War II era, with the squadron markings for the 492nd are F4, that's Foxtrot 4. And it was a very successful aircraft for the 48th Fighter Wing during the period of the Normandy invasions. Nicknamed the Jug, could carry 6 or 8 50 caliber machine guns and either 10 rockets or 2,500 pounds of bombs, ladies, gents, and teddy bears. Powered by the Pratt & Whitney R280059 of 2,430 horsepower. It is a magnificent aircraft, dive bombing, taking out a reconnaissance role, taking out gun positions, railway lines, major factories, dive bombing on the grounds. It was phenomenal. Low flying, dive bombing, all this strafing. And it innovated, the 48th kind of innovated into the role of the CAS, that's close air support. Absolutely amazing. Here we go. I don't want to take the glory away from the P-51 as well, because it is a magnificent aircraft. In the picture now we can see the P-51 and the P-47. P-51 just leading there. Not your usual Lakenheath stream, right? But the 48th, part of the 9th Fighter, the 9th Air Force, sorry, that supported the 2nd Army Air Corps on the ground during World War II. Here we go. What we want is for them to keep coming down closer and closer to us. Look at the size difference. Excuse me, sorry. E4. You don't often get a P-47 Thunderbolt buzz in the tower at Lakenheath. Yeah, someone just said it. It's quality over quantity today. That was just absolute magic. That was beautiful. If you're watching the Ted Coningsby channel live here at Lakenheath, you know how it is. That was really good. Hope you enjoyed that. I believe that is it. Let me just check. Just want to clarify and make sure that is it. It was a beautiful. I knew it. You know, due to the markings, I knew it was going to get up to something. That was absolutely special. That. Wasn't that just beautiful? Incredible, absolute beautiful. Well, that was absolutely worth just seeing that flight, that buzz, beautiful buzz. Chili Beef, thank you very much. Xanathran as well, look at that. Xanathran, welcome to the Ted Coningsby's Fighter Squadron. Thank you so much. Amazing. Afrin, thank you very much for joining our Ted Coningsby Fighter Squadron. Thank you so much. Guards March. And Chili Beef, thank you for the super chat as well. Thank you so much. Guards March for you as well. Wow, so many of you joining our exclusive Ted Coningsby Fighter Squadron. And I can tell you now, you will not regret joining that. Thank you very much. Thank you to all our members as well. You're right with that, Ted. Bit. Thank you all so much. Right, ladies and teddy bears, I shall leave you lovely people and bears to enjoy your weekend. That is the Ted Coningsby's mystery stream. Hope you enjoyed that. It was that was just worth it. That beautiful low approach, or buzz. We'll call that buzzing the tower. I believe that was buzzing the tower. Normally, if that was a fighter jet, it would be a show of force, perhaps. But wow, incredible fly past. we'll call it a fly past then, shall we? That was spectacular, beautiful. Thank you very much for tuning in today. Just before we go, I just want to thank the airmen at the 48 Fighter Wing. Thank you very much for today. Thank you so much. That was really cool. Thank you so much. You know who you are. And also just want to say a massive thank you to all of you who've tuned in today. I know it was a bit of you must have tuned in and thought, what on earth is going on here? But never mind, you've seen, you've witnessed, you've enjoyed, you were here with us. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Need to push back the dentures out. Thank you very much, ladies, gents, and teddy bears. Right, well, that's us done. Thank you. I shall leave you lovely people, and I'll see you all next week. So, for the last time, I guess, isn't it, Ted, for the week, isn't it? Yeah. My name's Nikos. I've been your cameraman and commentator. This is our squadron leader, Ted Coningsby. You've been watching the Ted Coningsby channel live here at Raf Lakenheath, and I hope you enjoyed those warbirds. So, for the last time for the week, it's see you soon. Wish you well. Oh, yeah.
Hey, hey.
Hello.
Did you see that fly past?
Yeah, that was great. I kept thinking, are they coming? Are they going? What are they doing?
Yeah, I knew.
Good,